This year's NFL season kicked off on September 8th, and there have been many shocking moments along the way. There's already been a major game-stopping moment, and it's only the third week of the season. Who knows what lies ahead? In this video, we'll be going over the horrific accident that happened on Monday night at a packed NFL game. Let's find out all the details. Starting off with the unfortunate incident. On September 20th, the Highmark Stadium in New York State was packed with spectators. They'd gathered to watch a showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans as part of the Monday Night Football. The first quarter of the game went down smoothly, with both teams having an equal score of 7-7. In the second quarter, Buffalo Bills had the upper hand, and with just 45 seconds left on the clock, a serious collision took place. Buffalo Bills cornerback Dane Jackson tackled the Tennessee Titans wide receiver Treylon Burks, but Jackson's own team member, the linebacker Tremaine Edmunds, came flying in and crashed into Jackson. His aim turned out to be really off. What made the collision more terrifying, though, was where Edmunds landed. He fell on top of Burke and with a full force bent Jackson's neck backwards. A playback shot revealed how terrifying the impact was because of the awkward angle. The 25-year-old was writhing around in pain as trainers rushed to check on him. With the timer stopped, the entire stadium fell silent. In just a few minutes, an ambulance appeared from the tunnel and loaded him onto a stretcher. Within minutes, he was rushed to the hospital. His teammate Edmonds, who had made that grievous error, looked absolutely devastated. We can't imagine what must be running through the 24-year-old's mind, knowing that his mistake could not only destroy his teammate's career, but also his life. Dane Jackson was a former 7th-round pick and had to work his way up for the starting role, but this accident placed a big question mark on his entire career. Following up with some hopeful news about the Bills' cornerback. While the injured cornerback was taken to the hospital for some tests, the entire stadium, along with players from both teams, held their hands up in prayer. After suffering such a terrifying collision, there were valid fears that Dane Jackson might have suffered a serious spinal injury, but all the prayers were answered shortly after the ambulance had left the stadium. Right in the second half of the game, the Buffalo Bills Twitter account gave a quick update on the whole situation. They assured the fans that Jackson had been rushed to the Erie County Medical Center for a quick scan of any neck-related injuries. Those scans included a CT scan and an X-ray. The most assuring piece of the update was that Jackson had full control over his movements, so there was no threat of paralysis. After the tests were run, Buffalo Bills confirmed that the cornerback was out of danger. The scan had revealed no neck injury or any spinal cord injury. Dane was released from the hospital on Tuesday after a thorough checkup. This is a fantastic sign and must mean that we'll get to see Jackson back at the stadium pretty soon. Up till now, Jackson had quite a promising run. He'd gathered a total of 3 tackles and 1 pass deflection. This was before the horrifying incident, though. We sure hope Jackson is receiving all the physical and emotional therapy required after suffering such a traumatic incident early on in his career. Let's take a look at the reactions from the fans. After witnessing the deadly tackle, everyone in the stadium could be seen praying for the injured cornerback. Even the folks watching the Monday Night Football at home couldn't help but pray for Dane Jackson's immediate recovery. While Buffalo Bills was in the lead with 17-7 by the halftime break, fans only seemed to care about Jackson's health. Many news reporters and sports commentators also joined in the prayer circle. Alyssa Ray updated her social media with a prayer for Dane. The sports anchor Spencer Davison commented on the absolute silence that had fallen in the stadium and called it a, quote, scary scene. Even non-Buffalo Bills fans were hoping for Jackson to recover and come out of this incident unscathed. When the Buffalo Bills Twitter account assured the public that Jackson was able to move, some fans just weren't convinced. Bills tweets received a lot of replies from medical experts claiming that movement doesn't necessarily mean that the player was out of danger. Some believed that the injury could be progressive and lead to paralysis afterwards. Well, all those fears were put to rest when Jackson was discharged from the hospital after a full-body checkup. Moving on, what happened after Jackson's injury? While Dane Jackson's injury did dampen the mood a bit, it was quickly replaced with an electrifying win by the Buffalo Bills. The Bills ended up beating the Tennessee Titans by a fantastic 41-7 lead. The Bills quarterback threw for 317 yards and also managed 4 touchdowns. 3 of those were to Stephon Diggs and 1 to Reggie Gilliam. Tennessee Titans offensive player Henry was able to score an opening drive touchdown but couldn't move past the defense. Both teams had devised to send their backup quarterbacks towards the end of the game. This was done to prevent their starters from suffering any injury. The real star of the match was Diggs, who wrapped up Monday night with 12 receptions for 148 yards and achieved 3 touchdowns. Diggs also became the first player since 2007 with at least 250 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. With these achievements, he's on the rise to becoming a Super Bowl favorite for this year. The Buffalo Bills now have a major shot at a Super Bowl berth, whereas the Tennessee Titans have yet to win a game. This is quite shocking, as the team was AFC #1 last year. Now in other news, moving on to another Buffalo Bill player who suffered a major injury. While Dane Jackson emerged from this accident without any serious injuries, another Buffalo Bill player wasn't so lucky. While playing against the Tennessee Titans on Monday, Micah Hyde suffered a season-ending neck injury. This means that we won't be seeing him compete in the Super Bowl challenge. After suffering that injury, Micah just left the field and was later carted off to the locker room. Their coach coach, Sean McDermott, issued a statement to the press on Friday. He claimed that both Hyde and Jackson were moving around and their neck injuries weren't that severe, but that didn't ease the tension, as McDermott also stated that he didn't know if Hyde's injuries were permanent. He did assure the fans by saying that they're going to work on the cadence and timing. And apart from that, both players were quite supportive and encouraging to one another. Later on, Hyde's agent, Jack Betka, confirmed the sad news that Hyde won't be returning this season, but he is expected to have a healthy return in 2023. We sure hope that it turns out that way. Following up with Week 3 of the NFL season. In Week 3, the Green Bay Packers were up against the Buccaneers. The Packers had an amazing start with a 14-3 lead thanks to Aaron Rodgers finishing his 12 out of 13 passes and leading the Packers in scoring drives of 10 and 12 plays. But the pressure they placed on the Buccaneers soon deflated. When Aaron Jones had a major fumble on the goal line, the Packers just couldn't recover after that. And then we have Tampa Bay, whose key player Tom Brady just couldn't manage to land his top targets. Tampa Bay's offense on Sunday was weakened as Tom Brady didn't have his usual set of team members and was forced to work different ones. He did manage to complete 31 of 42 passes, but when it came to hitting his target at a crucial game time point, his pass to Gage just didn't work out. Finally, let's look at injuries from Week 3. The Buffalo Bills player Josh Allen left the field while playing against Miami. He was taken to the X-ray room and was later declared to be fit, but the cornerback Christian Benford left the field and didn't return at all. Cincinnati Bengals defensive tackle also suffered a major knee injury and was pulled out of the game. From the Dallas Cowboys, Luke Gifford underwent a hamstring injury and is still unsure whether he might be fit to play against the Giants. Apart from that, we have Jair Alexander from the Green Bay Packers, who suffered a major groin injury and wasn't able to return to the game against Tampa Bay. From the New England Patriots, Mac Jones had to retire in the fourth quarter against Baltimore because of an ankle injury. He's expected to have an MRI done soon, but is likely to miss the next game. And finally, the Seattle Seahawks' Travis Homer had an injury in his ribs and is not expected to play against Atlanta. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Dane Jackson would return this season? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.